Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
You know who was ranting on social media that no one wants to see that on his inauguration day? Sir? This was one of our presidents. He didn't intend to die and mess up your day. That was not a choice. This is what happened.
If you ever ran for president, you'd win. This is Whoopi Goldberg. You don't hear that? She said, I'm making a movie. Would you be in it? I said, in what capacity? Just a walk-on. You're so great. Would you do it? I did a walk-on for Whoopi Goldberg. Now she says, I refuse to mention his name. You know what? Politics can do strange things to demented people.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Today, we have something absolutely explosive for you. Karoline Leavitt, the rising conservative star, just took Whoopi Goldberg to task on live television, and trust me, it was nothing short of hilarious. If you've ever wanted to see someone challenge the mainstream media narrative head-on, this is it. So, buckle up, grab some popcorn, and let's break it all down. The setting was none other than The View, a show known for its liberal-leaning panel, where conservative guests often find themselves outnumbered. But Karoline, oh, she came prepared. She wasn't there to play nice or be steamrolled. From the moment she sat down, she exuded confidence, ready to take on Whoopi and the rest of the panel. It didn't take long for Whoopi Goldberg to throw the first punch. With her usual smug attitude, she questioned Karoline about conservative policies, implying that the GOP is out of touch with reality. Whoopi brought up the usual talking points: abortion rights, election integrity, and so-called misinformation. But Karoline, she wasn't having any of it. The first mic drop moment came when Whoopi smugly suggested that conservatives are pushing dangerous conspiracy theories regarding election security. Karoline leaned in with a smile and calmly responded, "You mean the same election security concerns that Democrats were raising in 2016? Or the same ones that Hillary Clinton herself complained about for years? Because if that's the case, I guess we're all in agreement that election integrity matters." The audience let out an
listen, take him seriously and take him literally.
I don't think that we have to. I think it would be remiss of us to not say Joe Biden knows how to do this.
Yes.
He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean
he rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just
But can I mention one thing?
audible gasp. Whoopi was visibly caught off guard, and for a moment, she didn't know how to respond. But Karoline wasn't done. She continued, "You see, Whoopi, the problem isn't that people question elections. The problem is that only one side is allowed to do it without being called a threat to democracy." Boom. Game, set, match. But the real highlight of the exchange came when Whoopi tried to lecture Karoline about women's rights and abortion. Whoopi went on one of her usual monologues, claiming that conservative women are trying to control other women's bodies. Karoline, with her sharp wit, fired back, "So, you believe in bodily autonomy, right? That a woman should have total control over her own body." Whoopi, sensing a trap but unable to backpedal, said, "Of course." That's when Karoline hit her with the knockout punch. Then why did you and so many others support
Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality.
Vaccine mandates. Why did you push for people to be fired from their jobs if they refused a medical procedure? Wasn't that a violation of bodily autonomy? Silence. Complete and total silence. Even the other co-hosts didn't know how to respond. The irony was too much to ignore. The audience, likely full of Whoopi supporters, didn't know whether to clap or just pretend they didn't hear it. And it didn't stop there. Karoline took Whoopi to task on crime, the economy, and the radical shift in the Democratic Party. When Whoopi tried to defend the Biden administration's economic policies, Karoline laughed and said, "Whoopi, with all due respect, when was the last time you filled up your gas tank or went grocery shopping yourself? Everyday Americans are struggling under this administration, and no amount of TV spin can change that." Another brutal truth bomb. Whoopi, again, had no real counter. She tried to dismiss Karoline.
I watched that stupid View where you have these really dumb people. You know, Whoopi Goldberg said, "Would you participate in a movie?" She made some movie on basketball. This was before I ran for politics. She said, "Oh, you're so great. If you ever ran for president, you'd win." This is Whoopi Goldberg. You don't hear that? She said, "I'm making a movie. Would you be in it?" I said, "In what capacity?" "Just a walk-on. You're so great. Would you do a..." I did a walk-on for Whoopi Goldberg. Now she says, "I refuse to mention his name." You know what? Politics can do strange things to demented people.
Points by saying, "Well, the economy always has ups and downs." But Karoline wasn't letting her off that easy. She responded, "If this is just a normal economic fluctuation, then why are so many people suddenly living paycheck to paycheck under Biden when they were thriving under Trump?" By this point, Whoopi was practically fuming. She started interrupting, talking over Karoline, trying to regain control of the conversation. But Karoline kept her composure. She smiled, waited for Whoopi to finish, and then calmly delivered the finishing blow. "I know it's frustrating when the facts don't support the narrative, but that's exactly why so many Americans are waking up. They're seeing through the media spin, and they're tired of being lied to." And just like that, the segment ended. Whoopi Goldberg, the self-proclaimed voice of reason, had been completely dismantled.
No, I've hired Whoopi to work for me as a comedian before this stuff, and a long time ago. And I went. And, you know, I'm not particularly shy about what I hear. Her mouth was so foul. Every word out of her mouth was like the F word, this. I was with a group of people, like sort of nice people, and we had to leave. She was so filthy dirty, disgusting. Half the place left. I said I'd never hire her again, but she was so dirty. Every word was filthy dirty, and I left. And then I see her sitting about, "Oh, Whoopi, oh, what a loser she is."
On live television. Karoline Leavitt didn't just hold her own. She dominated the conversation with facts, logic, and humor. So, what's the takeaway here? It's simple. The mainstream media can no longer silence voices they don't like. People like Karoline Leavitt are proving that conservatives don't have to cower in the face of liberal media giants. They can fight back with facts, with humor, and with confidence. And let's be honest, watching Whoopi Goldberg get called out on her hypocrisy? That's just priceless. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that exposes the truth the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. Until next time, stay informed, stay bold, and never be afraid to speak the truth. Welcome back, everyone. If you thought Karoline Leavitt's takedown of Whoopi Goldberg was intense, just wait until you see what happened next. The conversation didn't just end with Karoline exposing Whoopi's hypocrisy, it continued, and things only got more heated. This is part 2 of the epic showdown, and trust me, it's even better than the first part. If you're ready for more brutal truth bombs, more mic drop moments, and more of Whoopi squirming in her seat, then let's dive right in.
If you heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today. It's unacceptable, the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders, and frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because President Trump was elected with a mandate from the American people to make this government more efficient. He campaigned across this country with Elon Musk, vowing that Elon was going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, and the two of them, with a great team around them, were going to look at the receipts.
After Karoline completely dismantled Whoopi's arguments about election integrity, bodily autonomy, and the economy, Whoopi, instead of addressing the facts, resorted to the classic mainstream media tactic, personal attacks. She looked at Karoline with that signature condescending smirk and said, "You're young. You haven't lived through as much as we have. You don't understand how politics really work. Now, let's pause right there. This is the same Whoopi Goldberg who constantly preaches about respecting different perspectives and empowering young voices. But when faced with a young, intelligent conservative woman who refuses to back down, suddenly age becomes a reason to dismiss someone's opinion. Karoline wasn't about to let that slide. She responded with pure class, saying, "Whoopi, with all due respect, age doesn't automatically make someone right. If that were the case, then we'd still be listening to people who thought the earth was flat just because they were older. The truth doesn't have an expiration date." Boom. Another brutal truth bomb. The audience gasped. Whoopi, clearly caught off guard, tried to laugh it off, but you could see she was shaken. She tried to pivot to another topic, hoping to regain control. All right, she said.
I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
But let's talk about something important. Why conservatives seem so obsessed with banning books and controlling what people learn. Ah, the good old book banning argument. But Karoline was ready. She leaned forward and hit back. "Whoopi, I find it interesting that you bring up book bans when it's actually the left that's been censoring people. Conservatives aren't banning books. We're pushing back against the sexualization of children in schools. Meanwhile, it's the left that's banning classic literature for being offensive. You want to talk about censorship? How about the fact that conservative voices get shut down on social media, while liberal narratives get pushed without question?" At this point, Whoopi was struggling. She knew that she was losing control of the conversation, so she tried another approach. She brought up January 6th, hoping to put Karoline on the defensive. "You support a party that led an attack on democracy," she said, her voice heavy with self-righteousness. Karoline didn't flinch. She calmly responded, "And you support a party that encouraged riots for months in 2020, burning down businesses, attacking police officers, and creating chaos in the streets. Do we really want to play the game of who condemned what? Because I remember the media calling those riots mostly peaceful protests while people's livelihoods..."
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Livelihoods were being destroyed. Whoopi had no answer for that. She tried to pivot yet again, but at this point, the damage was done. The audience could see what was happening. They could see that Karoline wasn't just holding her own, she was exposing the hypocrisy right before their eyes. But then came the moment that really sealed the deal. Whoopi, frustrated and out of arguments, blurted out, "Why are conservatives always playing the victim?" That was it. That was the moment Karoline had been waiting for. She smiled and said, "Whoopi, the irony of you saying that is incredible. The left has built an entire political movement around victimhood. Every issue, every policy, every talking point is about how someone is oppressed, how someone else is to blame, and how the government needs to step in and fix everything. Conservatives don't play the victim. We take responsibility. We believe in hard work, accountability, and not making excuses. That's the real difference between us." The audience reaction was mixed. Some people clapped. Others sat there in stunned silence. Even the other hosts on the panel seemed unsure of...
Karoline Leavitt is the press secretary at the White House, doing a great job. Such a great job that the ladies of The View feel the green monster coming upon them. They really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing.
Of how to respond. Whoopi, realizing she had no comeback, quickly changed the topic to something safer. But it was too late. The damage had been done. Karoline Leavitt had walked into the lion's den and walked out completely unscathed. So what's the takeaway? It's simple. The mainstream media thrives on controlling narratives. They expect conservatives to back down, to cower, to avoid confrontation. But that's not happening anymore. People like Karoline Leavitt are proving that you don't have to be afraid to challenge the liberal establishment. You don't have to let the media dictate the conversation. You can fight back with facts, with confidence, and with truth. And let's be honest, watching Whoopi Goldberg get completely outclassed on her own show? That's just priceless. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content exposing the truth the media doesn't want you to hear. Until next time, stay informed, stay bold, and never be afraid to speak.
I am obviously acutely aware that my presence at this podium represents a few firsts. I am a Black, gay, immigrant woman, the first of all three of those to hold this position.
How are we? Good to see all of you. It's an honor to be here with all of you. A lot of familiar faces in the room, a lot of new faces. And President Trump is back, and the golden age of America has most definitely begun. The Senate has already confirmed 5 of President Trump's exceptional cabinet nominees.
Welcome back, everyone. If you thought parts 1 and 2 were intense, just wait until you hear what happened next. The showdown between Karoline Leavitt and Whoopi Goldberg didn't just stop at fiery exchanges. It escalated into one of the most eye-opening debates we've seen on live television. By this point, Whoopi was visibly frustrated, struggling to maintain control of the conversation, and Karoline? Well, she was just getting started. Buckle up, because part 3 is where things really get interesting. After Whoopi's weak attempt at dismissing Karoline's arguments by calling conservatives victims, she tried a different angle, accusing the right of being anti-science. With her usual smug expression, Whoopi leaned forward and said, "Conservatives always deny science. Whether it's climate change, public health, or social issues, the right just refuses to accept the facts." Ah, the classic anti-science argument, the left's favorite way of shutting down debate. But Karoline wasn't having it. She leaned in and calmly responded, "Whoopi, let's talk about science. You say conservatives deny science, but it was conservatives who questioned lockdowns when the so-called experts said shutting down the world was the—
It is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
only solution. Now, even the CDC admits that school closures harm children, and businesses were destroyed for no reason. So tell me, Whoopi, who really ignored the science? Boom. The audience reaction was a mix of nervous laughter and murmurs. Whoopi, caught off guard, quickly tried to shift to climate change. "Well," she scoffed, "you all deny climate change too. The science is clear." Karoline smiled and responded, "Whoopi, believing in climate change and supporting radical policies that destroy jobs are two different things. The same politicians lecturing Americans about reducing carbon emissions are flying private jets to climate conferences. And let's not forget, you drive a gas-powered car, right? Or are you walking to work every day?"
Whoopi Goldberg was angry when Alyssa pointed out that Trump went to the funeral of Officer Diller.
Yes.
On Long Island, and Joe Biden went to a podcast. Look at Whoopi Goldberg's reaction.
Choose what you like there, but for Republicans, it was good imagery.
Really?
1 day later, yes.
And I'm asking that because I was so offended, because you know who showed up,
Yeah.
and he was, whether he was asked or not. This
But he
is a
was
man
invited.
who didn't care what happened to the officers on January 6th.
She promotes Joe Biden and Kamala Harris every day on that show. Trump wasn't supportive enough of the cops who were, yes, in danger on J6. How does that explain their behavior on a daily basis toward Harris, toward Biden, toward AOC, toward all of the left, including their own show, Sunny Hostin? The hypocrisy is rank.
Trump didn't collude with big tech to silence stories. And Trump didn't call half the country enemies of democracy. That was Joe Biden. The silence in the studio was deafening. Even the most loyal left-wing audience members couldn't ignore the truth. Whoopi, out of options, did what the left always does when they lose an argument. She changed the subject and rushed to a commercial break. And that, my friends, is how Karoline Leavitt absolutely dismantled Whoopi Goldberg, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row. She walked into The View as their invited guest and left as the one running the conversation. And that's exactly why conservatives need to fight back. The left relies on weak arguments, emotional manipulation, and media control to push their agenda. But when faced with facts, logic, and confidence, they crumble. So, what's the lesson here? Simple: don't be afraid to challenge the mainstream media. Don't let them intimidate you. And most importantly, never stop speaking the truth. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content exposing the lies of the media. Until next time, stay informed, stay bold, and never be afraid to stand up for what's right.